Hi there, it's Tammy here. And in this short video, we're going to talk about the pressure that pregnant women feel to continue life as normal when life is anything but normal. So if you're currently pregnant and trying to live normally whilst nothing is normal, then this video is absolutely for you. And when you look at how modern women's roles within the workforce and within the family unit has evolved over the last 50 years, hell, even the last 20 years, it's no wonder there's the common feeling of pressure on the modern woman to continue life as normal during their pregnancy. You know, long gone are the days where women are confined to the singular role as housewife and mother. Women now have careers, they have busy personal lives that range from their own health and fitness needs to being a member of a board to the member of a book club, and obviously everything in between. You know, women also still typically manage the general day-to-day running of their household and the mental load that goes with it. You know, if you already have children, you likely manage their lives as well. You know, the health and well-being of the family unit as a whole typically falls on your shoulders. And it's not completely untrue that your partner's needs also add yet another layer of complexity. You juggle all of this and still need to perform in your professional lives as well. And even if you're not already a mother, or you live in a household where your tasks or the household tasks are more evenly distributed between you, it's still typically the woman who carries the overarching mental load. Now, of course, this isn't a piece about gender equality, or it's definitely not a women can do it all piece. That's not my area of expertise at all. Ask me anything about pregnancy and exercise, that's my jam. But what I want to open up a conversation around is the internal pressure to continue life as normal when you're pregnant, and how doing so can actually affect your health in the short and long term, as well as the health of your baby. And interestingly, a 2015 study found that most women claimed that their perceptions of themselves hadn't changed. Not much, not substantially during pregnancy. Rather, their concerns were more focused on other people viewing them differently. Specifically, 80% of women interviewed were concerned that their professional image or other people's perceptions of their competence and character would be damaged at work due to their pregnancy. You know, the women in this study were concerned about the negative stereotypes around pregnancy in the workplace, and the fact that they may be viewed as their ability to maintain work quality and productivity during pregnancy would be harmed. You know, they were also concerned about discrimination and changes to their professional image. This study also showed that women tend to deal with these perceptions in two different ways. They either try to maintain their pre-pregnancy professional image by not making any allowances in their professional lives for their pregnancy, or they tried to hide their pregnancy totally, altogether. The fact that it's 2023 and we're still dealing with these types of stereotypes, it actually blows my mind. And honestly, in my opinion, neither of these coping strategies are ideal. Support and understanding in both your family life and your workplace are crucial to creating a more positive, healthy pregnancy experience. And you get neither if you try to hide your pregnancy and soldier on and not let yourself make any professional allowances for your pregnancy. I also believe that this applies to other areas of life where you can see women putting pressure on themselves to, do things like continue training with exactly the same intensity as they were before, continuing to carry the overarching mental load in the home, as well as continuing with the same level of personal commitments, all the while trying to juggle, your physical pregnancy symptoms, things like nausea, fatigue, and the million other different appointments that seem to have cropped up in your calendar, the decisions that need to be made and things that need to be organized and bought before the baby arrives. Gosh, it's no wonder pregnancy insomnia is a thing. It's enough to keep a superhero awake at night, But that's just it. As much as we'd like to think we are, women are not superheroes, And when you're literally growing another human being, don't you think it's time to just give yourself a bit of a break? This genuinely isn't time to try and prove just because you're pregnant doesn't mean life has to stop, or that you don't need special treatment just because you're pregnant. Now, whether this is to yourself or your boss or your partner, or insert any other person that you may feel like you have to prove yourself to, right? And while I understand that this thought process to a certain degree, like I understand it to a certain degree, sure, life doesn't stop just because you're pregnant, and you're not suddenly incapable of handling your life and its responsibilities. You're not suddenly unable to train altogether, and you can certainly continue to, still add the same value to your workplace, irrespective of your pregnancy, 100% with all of those. It's more about figuring out where you need to make these allowances, or where these allowances need to be made, and advocating for change to make room for them, Sure, this might require some tough conversations and some creativity on your part, but you can't even begin to have these conversations if you're not honest with yourself first and accept that, you actually need to make some changes to accommodate the pregnancy into your life for the sake of your health and your well-being and the health and well-being of your baby. And I'm going to stop and remind you here once more, what you're actually doing is growing another human. And just remember how important that really is, because without the capability, the human race wouldn't exist. So you know what? In that respect, women are superheroes. And just please take a moment to appreciate all the amazing things that your body is doing. The energy expenditure that it's like expending, making vital organs, blood, bones, ligaments, tendons, muscles, skin, fingernails, eyelashes, hair. You're making a tiny human, and it's utterly incredible. So while you might be placing pressure on yourself to continue life as normal, or even worse, you're pushing harder because you now know that you have this looming deadline of taking time off, regardless of whether it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 8 months. In however many weeks you are taking an extended break from work. And what you might not realize is, without cutting back on anything, without making allowances for the fact that your body and your mind actually need more rest than before, what you're actually doing is doing your future self a disservice and potentially increasing the health risks to both you and your baby. And trust me, I get it. Finding the ever elusive kind of work-life balance is difficult at the best of times, but even more so when you had the added complexity of pregnancy. So how do you navigate this time and ensure that you're looking after yourself, your baby, and balancing all your commitments all at once? And before we look at this, and without scaring you, I think it's important to first understand the potential health risks that not making these allowances, the allowances for extra care that you generally require in this time. Now, most of the health risks are large topics within themselves that definitely appear in the pregnancy process program. However, for the sake of this video, we'll just do a quick overview so you actually get an understanding of the toll placing pressure on yourself to continue life as normal during pregnancy can actually have on your health and well-being. So firstly, there's postnatal depletion. And yes, this is absolutely a real thing. Postnatal depletion encompasses the huge toll that pregnancy, birth, and motherhood takes on women. And yes, this starts during pregnancy. The energy required to make another human is immense. If you're not resting enough because your schedule is too tightly packed and you're not making allowances for the pregnancy, you're pre-exhausting yourself before the baby is even born. Not only that, but the baby's vitamin and mineral requirements are just as large, meaning if they aren't adequately met through correct nutrition, the baby will be drawing down on your own stores to meet its requirements. And this could leave your body and vitamin and mineral stores in an already depleted state once the baby even arrives, right? Now, we all know pregnant women need more sleep. So what happens if your commitments aren't allowing you to get enough sleep? Now, in a nutshell, research suggests that women who don't get enough sleep during pregnancy have higher risks of developing pregnancy complications, including things like preeclampsia, high blood pressure, and gestational diabetes. And it also shows longer labors and higher rates of C-section, particularly among women who get fewer than 6 hours sleep over the course of 24 hours. I mean, 6 hours just isn't enough. And what about stress? Because I'm pretty certain if you're pushing yourself to continue life as normal when you're pregnant, you're actually going to be under increased stress. And as we all know, stress has many physical, psychological, and emotional side effects. But when it comes to pregnancy, it's been shown to cause things like preterm labor, preterm delivery, low birth weight, preeclampsia, and gestational diabetes, just to name a few. When it comes to working long hours, the research also showed that compared with women working around 25 hours a week, women working, 40 plus hours a week had lower growth rates for the baby. The baby's head circumference was slightly different or slightly smaller at birth. And there was also a difference of birth weight, of about 150 to 200 grams. And this particular study concluded that long periods of standing and long working hours per week during pregnancy seem to negatively influence your baby's growth. And again, I'm not trying to scare you here, and I understand that you can't just magically cut your working hours by half, but you can see where I'm going with this. Now, of course, your rational brain understands the importance of making allowance for your pregnancy, but I understand turning that knowledge into action is probably the most difficult part. So how do you slow down when you feel so much pressure to continue life as normal during your pregnancy? And I think firstly, it comes from accepting that you actually need to make some changes. Then giving yourself permission to make them. And this is likely going to be probably the hardest part of the process. Remembering back to the research that shows specifically 80% of women interviewed were concerned that their professional image or other people's perceptions of their competence and character would be damaged at work due to their pregnancy. And I think the key words in that whole thing were that women were concerned about other people's perception. And this really shows that what we need to be doing is not placing so much importance on what other people think. Because the reality is, unless we specifically ask them, we're creating this perception in our own minds. And just think about that for a moment. You could be placing all of this pressure on yourself to continue life as normal for absolutely no reason at all. And I'm of the mindset that people are actually always more willing to help than we probably realize. And the reality is most people don't actually like admitting that they need help, let alone asking for it. Especially if you're a perfectionist or like to be the one in control of everything. And I think this is actually a great opportunity to do some serious self-assessment and figure out where you actually need to make some allowances for your pregnancy. And then, have those hard conversations and communicate your needs to ensure that you're getting the correct support, the support that you genuinely require in the places that you need to them. And you're going to need to do this once the baby is born anyway. So there's no better time to start this process than now. And of course, prioritizing things based on their importance is absolutely key. So we know that adequate sleep, stress management, correct exercise, and nutrition are all really important during pregnancy. For me, these would be the non-negotiables, right? Which is why they are covered extensively within the pregnancy process program. Now, from a work perspective, again, understandably, everyone's work situation is going to be unique. And I think understanding your rights when it comes to working conditions during pregnancy is a great place to start. And from there, I'd probably look at where your health and well-being is being most affected because of your work, and open up the conversation around potentially allowing more flexibility in those areas. And I mean, listen, I totally admit I've not been overly exposed to office politics. However, one thing that I do know is that most people develop something called relationship equity in their workplace. So if you need to draw down on that over the coming weeks and months, by all means, give yourself permission to do so. And after your health and well-being, if work is your next biggest priority, maybe look a little bit further down the list to see where you can trim some of the commitments, some of the fat, so to speak, and create some more downtime for yourself. Can your partner represent the two of you at social events? Do you really need to be there? Can you attend things virtually instead of in real life? Do you have siblings that can take, the lion's share of responsibilities when it comes to your family? Do you really need to be cleaning, or insert any other domestic chore that a professional can be hired to do? And if you already have a cleaner, can you kind of upgrade them to take on more of a housekeeping role, so to speak? And if you're not already online shopping wherever you can, but for groceries, this literally should be a non-negotiable, get into online shopping. Maybe give meal prep service to handle your evening meals or even your lunches a go, right? Basically, you're now in the business of subtracting and minimizing anything that's not an absolute priority. If it doesn't require your personal, in real life attendance, or it can be delegated to your partner, a professional, a service, a family member, the internet, then it no longer requires your time or your energy. And I think the biggest questions from here will be whether or not you're actually ready for the help your pregnancy journey genuinely requires. And can you actually release yourself from the pressure of needing to do all of these things yourself? And if you answered yes, and you are ready to receive support across the 4 pillars of health during your pregnancy journey, then absolutely head to the link in my bio or the video description below and apply to join my complimentary but private community. So that's it from me today. I really hope this video helped, and I'll see you in the next one.